Oh,
I,
it's it. That
let me tell you something. I made so much money during the pandemic.
I believe it. But see, that's where people mess up, man. They mess up. Oh, it's a pandemic. Let me complain. Let me pout and let me cry about it without thinking that there's more opportunity in situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's the average person. That's the average person's thinking is just to shut down. But also, that's the average poet's thinking too.
You know what? You know what? Part of it, I will admit, was survival. Like I was like, I don't know how long this is gonna last. It was like hoarding nuts. I was like,
Yeah.
let me get all these nuts together because I don't know how long this is gonna last. Y'all said 2 weeks, now it's 2 months, now it's 2 years. So a lot of it was that. So yeah, part of it was like I said, it was sparked from him 500 in his Tuesday, Thursday classes online. And then Haziq Ali too. He was doing those classes. I learned the most from those two. And the dude, what's his name? I
Yeah.
forgot his name.
Chance.
Yes. The
Yeah. David
Sleep When You're
Chance.
Dead. What's his name?
Sleepers for Suckers.
Sleepers for Suckers, yes, and him. Those three. I was online every day. What y'all doing? And then the 8 a.m. meetings they would have, all
Yeah.
of that. So I definitely was inspired, but then my life shifted. And then pandemic was over and yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah. But so,
It's a lot
that's those are the times where you pivot or you should pivot because
now.
I knew that I couldn't be out in the streets like that, obviously because of COVID, kids getting older and all this other stuff. But then that's when I said, okay, it's time to go hard online.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you literally could, if you were a performance poet, you could literally become an international poet by
You're
hopping
right.
on, you know what I mean? Hopping on all of these, because poetry held COVID down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like all the lives on social media and so on and so forth. But
I think I
so
did the poetry lounge
you
on
probably did.
online on yeah,
Yeah.
during
But
the pandemic.
you literally could be an international name by hopping
Mhm.
into these lives and conversations and stuff like that. And then when it's over, they're like, yo, you should come and perform. You did an
Mhm.
amazing job on our live. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's
And because people were getting so much money, they were giving money. So like, you'd be online like, "Oh, cash at me." These days you get $5. During the pandemic, you was getting $100, $50,
sure.
$20. I was like, "Jeez."
Yeah.
So then I started DJ. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna be a D nice." That was a little
Right.
harder than I thought.
I believe it. I
That was
believe it.
that was D nice. You did a great job because I was struggling.
Hey, D Nice crushed it. He held the pandemic down. Oh my goodness.
And I saw him earlier this year. I hope I get to see him again. So I saw him. I'm gonna say last year, even though it was earlier this year. It's about to be next year. So
Sure.
when I say last year's Grammys, we all know it was really earlier February.
For
But
sure.
I saw him earlier this year at the Grammys. It was the ASCAP brunch. So they hired D Nice to DJ the brunch. It was dope. I'm talking about this was brunch, and we were dancing in front of the DJ. Like there was no dance floor. He was just. I'm sorry. He was so bleeping dope. It
Yeah.
was just like, oh, brunch, okay. And I was chicken and waffles on a stick,
Yeah.
dancing in front of D Nice at 12 noon, 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I went up to him. I was like, we've never met before. I just want to say I love you. I grew up on you. We're the same age. And, of course, your hip hop career. I'm in the 90s. Like, my name is D Nice. My name is D Nice.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, what's your name? I was like, this is what shocked me. And this is why poetry is more powerful than people
I
think.
know.
He said, what's your name? Just regular, what's your name? Like it could have been Sally, Susie, whatever. I said, my name is Now, okay. So here's a little amendment that did help him. Everybody at the ASCAP brunch were nominees. So ASCAP has a brunch for all their music nominees, right?
Mhm.
So I'm an ASCAP member. And so they were like, hey, we see you got nominated. Come to our brunch, basically, right? So, they ain't know me, but my name was on the wall. It was cute. So he was like, what's your name? And I was like, oh, my name is Queen Sheba. No, I said, my name is Queen Sheba. And he was like, oh, you're in a tough category. I said, what category is that? He said, you're in the poetry category. And I said, I am. Oh my I was fangirling out. I was not mature at all. I just want to say that. I was like, oh my God. He was like, ah. He was like, yeah, you got a tough category. You there with J. Ivy and Ajay and da 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 da. And I was just like, look at poets, coming around. So that was really cool that he didn't know me, but that he knew, that category. So I thought that was dope.
I'm glad you said that because I need, and I'm sure you do too. I need poets to understand the great position that they're in. We're in an amazing position, but you may not feel it currently in your particular situation, but because it is where it is, people see where it is, and if we could just recognize like where it's going and also how people see poets now, even now, uh, I think they would operate differently. I think they would operate with more confidence. Like if you were walking down the street and you just had a shirt that said "I'm a poet," like you would have people staring and stopping you, be like, because most people have never seen a poet before, as in they know poets, but they have not seen a poet walking down the street because you can't tell a poet when you see one.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You
But
can you
yeah,
you know what you do see for the working poets that are out here. You see what's the word? Stardom is not the right word. You see something on them. You don't
yes,
know what it is. You
yeah,
see something because people say to me all the time, "You do something." Are you a singer? You do
right,
something. But
right,
it's not just me. Like I could be with you walking down the street. Like
yeah,
we got on, our summer gear or whatever. And
yeah.
they'd be like, what y'all do? Y'all do something, because it's
It's
something
on
on
you,
us. They just don't know what it is.
right, right.
I also think that with J. Ivy getting nominated and winning twice,
Hmm.
and now with me getting nominated back to back, two things are happening. One, poets are seeing, oh, this is obtainable. Like these are people we know. This
Yes.
this is not just Madonna, or Prince getting nominated back to back in the poetry category. These are poets that we know that have been doing poetry, and this is a peer-based voting system. So
Mm,
somebody thought enough of us to vote for us, 2 years in a row. And so poets are like, "Oh, I can do this." And I've been trying, and so my charge this year, more than last year, because last year, was my first time, and I'm like, "Come on, guys, we can do it." And they like, "Let's see what you do first." So now this year, they're like, "Oh, okay, what is it now?" So I'm gonna say it again because I appreciate you interviewing me last year and this year. If you are a poet, um, that is a professional poet, and professional does not mean this is all you do.
mm.
I also am a part-time professor. Everybody knows that. That doesn't mean this is all you do, but I'm
Hold
a
on, I don't
100.
think everybody knows that. Where
Oh,
you
yeah.
where
Oh,
you
man,
professing? Where you professing at?
no. So, I was at Clark Atlanta University for 5.5 years, and the only reason I left is because I currently let me put on my blur background. My door's all open. That I currently live in Raleigh, North Carolina with the love of my life.
That's awesome.
So I teach online at Southern New Hampshire University. Y'all see those commercials with the blue and yellow with blue and yellow logo like 15 times a day? Southern New Hampshire. It's a real place, and they have like 500,000 students online and on in
Worldwide.
yeah, worldwide. In person, that's what I'm trying to say. In person on campus and worldwide. I was like, Jesus. They
What are
have
you teaching?
English, Southern New Hampshire. I'm not trying to. I like to check. Southern New Hampshire is just English, and I say just, and I don't like to use the word just a little because that's what I signed up for, and I knew it. Now at Clark, I was teaching poetry, fiction, short stories, and everybody in the English department is required to teach English composition. So there, I was teaching what I love. Southern New Hampshire is just for the check, and I mean, it's just
Well, let me ask you, do you have a master's?
Yes, I have a master's from Queen's University, Charlotte. People usually think New York, but that's Queen's College. Both are amazing, but Queen's University in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm familiar with the Carolinas. I've been in North Carolina on and off my whole year. My son's father's side of the family is from Charlotte, so Orangeburg, South
So
Carolina.
so I've recognized that artists don't necessarily need a master's to teach at universities because
You
of
do.
their they
Nope, you
do.
do. You need a now, this is different. You could be a poet in residence
Oh, okay.
for a short period of time, 2 weeks, maybe a month, maybe in special occasion, a semester, but you're not considered a faculty member. So, that's temporary, and it will only happen once. It's a
So
very
you
short.
gotta have that
You
master's.
have to have at least a master's. So, because I have a MFA, MFA is terminal. It's like getting a doctorate in creative writing.
Okay.
So, we
Okay.
don't need a PhD. So, if you're in creative writing, if you have an MFA, it's equivalent to a PhD in creative writing. Now, you can get a PhD in something else. Like, I have always wanted one in, like, African American history or psychology. I may or may not do it, but,
Mm,
that's
yeah,
if you don't need one.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and get my master's. I want to
Go to
be an
Queens. It's low residency. You don't have to be on campus.
go where?
Go to Queens University in Charlotte.
Oh,
You only have to go to campus twice a year for 2 weeks. The rest of it is online.
Queens what?
University in Charlotte. I'll
Queens
hook you up with
University.
an email.
Yeah, shoot me some details because I've had the opportunity to teach at universities, but like you said, more so short term. And so I was trying to learn that background information about how to become adjunct,
Mm-mm.
and but I'm finding that you got to have a master's. But then I was looking at, the rappers who teach at
CI worked
universities,
at Clark for
and
a
I know they don't
semester.
have masters, right? But so I thought that because of the experience in the art realm,
Mm-mm.
that they override the master's side of things. So it's a short term stint. Okay,
Mhm.
I
He
got
did
you.
it 1 semester, and they paid him more than they paid any other adjunct ever.
Sure, sure. Yeah, and I would imagine that is also a form of marketing.
Yeah, maybe for him, possibly. Yeah, that could
Not for
be.
him, for the
Oh,
school.
for them. Oh, yeah, 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 for
Yeah,
sure,
so
for sure.
it paid for their marketing as well. So
And
I
he
get
taught a
it.
business class.
Yes. Yes. I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
he taught a
Yeah,
business
I'm
class.
learning. I'm learning a lot, and I'm trying to figure out the best route to take to move forward as far as educationally, because my goal and aspirations as relates to art and education is incorporating the business aspect into the art space, because even in college where art, and creative whatever is a degree, what I'm finding is they don't incorporate business.
No,
You know what I mean? And
you have to
they
learn
have you
business
hone
period.
in and be an expert on art, but they throw you out there without the business that sustains the art.
That's correct.
That's
And you
that's a problem.
I feel like there's a challenge and a disconnect with the students of today and the traditional higher education.
Yeah.
I remember that there was a professor with tenure. That's what all professors shoot for. But I am an adjunct, which means I am not full time, which means I still have to pay for my own parking uh, and my own dental.
Right.
Uh, but I remember being on a panel with him at Clark, and I mentioned that reading traditional poetry definitely is a must. Reading the classics is a must. Reading contemporary modern poetry is a must. And watching the poets of today on TikTok, YouTube, and IG. And
But
his
why? Why the classics, and why?
because um they're the same stories with a different language. And then it's like learning the foundation of writing, learning how to master writing, and then you can bend the rules. And
Mm.
it's like learn your language, master it, learn poetry and get all different aspects of poetry, different points of views, different ways to say the same story.
Mm,
County Cullen is definitely going to be different than the person you see on TikTok. That's an extreme example, but you
mm,
know, but it isn't it. It's the same story of struggle and identity, and so be able to write classically with be your own chat GPT. Learn
mm,
how to
mm.
write classically with a peppering of Gen Z so that you can relate to today's audience, but still understand and respect the fundamentals and the foundation of creative writing.
Now I like that. I like that because most times it's either or,
Mm.
where they're only focused on the dead poets and but not listening to the current poets. But then the third aspect, they're not allowing us to write. So we have
Mhm.
our own voice. It's like,
And that's why his face turned. He was so mad, and I promise you didn't speak to me afterwards. And I think, not proven, he was on the search committee when I applied for the full-time creative writing position, and I didn't even get an interview. And so I kind of put two and two together. Now I can never prove that, and nobody's ever said that, but you know,
yeah, yeah, that's the imbalance right there.
it
And
is.
that's where you turn creatives off because we're like, okay, I don't want to hear another dead poet's poem and what we think they were thinking when they wrote it. And what am I thinking?
Yeah, like who are you to you know what's interesting to me is that when we try to interpret what they thought and said from 200 years ago. And
Right,
I'm like Pablo Neruda, people are like, "Oh, we're just going to translate his book and his feeling." I'm like, "Okay." I mean, I guess, that's what Spanish, so it might be a little easier to translate, but you still can't tell me what he was thinking,
right.
you know. So, I totally agree with you. I think that if you have both, then you're able to be engaging and captivating at the same time.
Oh, for
And
sure.
yeah. And
And
that's what I strive to do. I
right.
strive to have whatever I'm feeling and also have a bit of structure. But I want to be clear, you can make up your own poetry format. There's a billion. Like there's
Oh,
not
for sure.
yeah, yeah,
For
yeah.
sure. But see, that's why lay persons, people outside of poetry, don't have a great relationship with poetry is because they remember high school,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And that one element of it of studying dead poets and what they meant and all of that. So
Mhm.
so when they hear it, they're like, man, I don't want to hear, I don't want
I don't want
no.
to hear I'm not about to kill myself and my girlfriend just to prove I love her. Like I'm not
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah,
I'm not I don't what is up with this Shakespeare dude? I'm not doing it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
not about to poison my family. So get out of here.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would start with today. I would start with the Queen Sheba and I would start with the J Ivy and the Black Chakras,
Oh my god,
to
I love him.
oh
I
he
every time he comes up in an interview, that is a great example
it
of
is.
someone mixing genres
Hmm.
extremely successfully.
Because
Like
he does what you said do. He
mhm,
studies the history and is a genius as it relates to it.
yeah,
And
and
he
he
incorporates.
doesn't lose the story though.
Oh, for
Even
sure.
when he's doing hip hop, I think a lot of times, especially since I do poetry versus hip hop, a lot of times they lose the story and they go right to convincing us that their life is amazing. And I'm
Right.
like, "Where's the story?" Even if your life is amazing, where's the story? Yeah. He does an excellent job. I love him. I wish I could have him on every show I ever have. He's, like,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's Black Chakra is definitely a jewel in a gem for sure, man. And it's so funny. Uh, I just had him performing a contest with the clients, poetry contest, and in Baltimore. I brought it to Baltimore, and it was so crazy. We had been talking so much and liking and sharing and commenting on each other's posts that we thought we knew each other and have met already. And I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" He was like, and I was like, yo, this is our first time meeting? He was like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So social media is beautiful like that, you know.
It is.
But yeah, no, so I'm learning this Grammy stuff. Like, let's
Mhm.
talk about this whole process, and because some of it is a little confusing, like timeline wise. Break the timeline thing down.
It can be. So it can be a little confusing. Um, are you a voting member for the Grammys
I'm
right now?
not. I would like to be. Connect me.
Perfect. So this is perfect. So our year, the Grammy year, is from March 1st to March 1st. Think about it like
Okay.
that. So that's the first thing to think about. March 1st to March 1st. The reason why is because if and I didn't notice or know I didn't notice or know this until earlier this year that the Grammys and Super Bowl have made an agreement not to be on the same Sunday ever. I
Oh, that
did
makes sense.
not. Yep, it makes sense, right? And make
Yeah.
this the largest award you can receive in music, and then the biggest, culmination of a sport. You know,
Yeah,
it,
that's not even smart to do.
right? For network wise, right?
Right.
But now that Netflix is streaming football,
I
they,
know.
that was so weird yesterday. Okay, but anyway,
Yeah.
so the Grammys are this year coming up, 2025, February 2nd, Super Bowl's February 9th, and then Valentine's Day. So you cannot be a voting member right now. That would be unfair because
Right.
we're in the middle of the final rounds of voting. So if everybody became a voting member right now, we'd be like, whoa, 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 you weren't even in the first round to help to determine who would make the nominees for this round, right? So nobody right now can become a new voting member until March 1st. So what has happened is earlier this year, March 1st, 2024 to June 30th, I think that was the timeline. To June 30th, they decided on class of 2025. Does that make sense
Of
so far?
voting members or
Of voting
nominees.
of new no, of new voting members. We're just talking about voting members right now.
How do you become one?
I'm about to tell you. So, March 1st, if you submitted before March 1st of 2024 and was accepted. No, if you submitted before March 1st, hold on. If you
Okay.
submitted before April 15th and you met the qualifications, I'm going to tell you that, then you were notified by June 30th that you are a voting member now. Now you're a voting member. You're voting for the 2025 Grammys. Okay. Let's use J. Rose as an example. You know her from New York.
Yes.
Poet curator. Gotcha. So she became a voting member by getting her information in before April 15th, April 30th of this year. She had to wait. The Grammys were collecting everybody that wants to become a voter. They sent out notifications June 15th to June 30th of this year saying, hey, congratulations, you can vote in the 2025 Grammys. Because 2024 already happened, right? We already happened. J. Ivy won. It already happened. So when you're talking about the Grammys, you're always talking about a year ahead, which can
Got
be
it.
confusing. So
Got it.
right now we are voting for the 2025 Grammy winners.
What's the criteria to become a voting member?
So, in normal circumstances, you need to be in your genre. We're just going to talk about poets. You need to have been a professional poet for 5 years.
Mhm.
What we mean by professional is you have exchanged your performance services for money, specifically sandwiches, soda, but for money, have been contracted at least 12 times in the last 5 years. That's 12 credits. That's what we mean by credits. You have ended up on a flyer, a billboard, what are those things called? The things outside theaters. What are those things called?
Uh,
The uh thing.
yes,
Anything.
I know what you mean. It's gonna kill
Somebody in
me.
the comments is gonna be like you know, um, ended up on a poster. You have been hired at least 12 times. in writing somewhere that we can find in the last 5 years. So you have to have 5 years, which is, we consider 50,000 hours, whatever. And you've been hired 12 times. Those are your credits. And or you have made albums. Those can also be credits. Or books. Those can also be credits. Or audiobooks. Those can also be credits. They have to be published. Published means, this is a very simple definition for published. Published means for the public. You can be published at your university press, but we just have to be able to find it. You have to be able to show it. So if you're at the University of Notre Dame and you have published a poem in the University of Notre Dame poetry classic, blah, 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 we can find it. That's considered one credit. So 5
The
years,
marquee.
12.
That's what it is. The marquee.
Marquee. Did you Google that?
No, I just had to think about it.
Okay. Marquee, right. So 12 credits of those combinations of published work, 5 years in the game, in your own website, and 2 letters of recommendation from people in the entertainment business. They can be whatever. They can be an attorney, and they do not have to be a Recording Academy member. That is I think that's where some people get stuck. They have to be voting members. No, they can be an entertainment attorney. They can be a manager. They can be a grip for a theater. They can be somebody in the entertainment world who knows you. You need 2 letters of recommendation. If they are not voting members, there is a link that you can follow to submit all these things. If they are a voting member, such as myself, each voting member gets 2 recommendations a year. So I recommended J. Rose and was it Wolf, Teresa the Songbird, and Teresa the Songbird, I think, this year. And so they both got in. And also, just because we submit you does not mean that you're going to get in. Somebody on the other side is checking, vetting, verifying, making sure that you are who you say you are. So you have to have a bio, your own website, 12 credits, and 5 years in the game, and 2 letters of recommendation. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. If you've
No.
already been doing this for 5 years, you should have all
Right.
that.
See, but that's what I mean. And that's what I'm thinking when you're saying all of what you're saying, because I get all of these questions. Do you have to have a website? Do you have to have, like, I'm
Look,
like,
this is how we feel about a website. Right now, matter of fact, it's a perfect example. I am in Facebook prison. So if I didn't have my own website during voting season, how are people going to find me? Of course, I'm on IG, whatever, but that's IG. That's not, I mean, sure, y'all know I'm a poet by the time you go through my IG. But if I didn't have a website, I am in Facebook.
right.
I'm in Facebook prison right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't run ads, can't come. People are, I can see in my junk mail that people are tagging me. I made up actually a fan made up my Facebook page and my junk mail 50 million years ago when Facebook started for me. But I can see it come through, but I can't click. They thought that I stole my own video. And I said in my what's it called, appeal, I'm in the video. Like, bro, look at me, look at the video. And I was like, here's all my other social media. Here's the script I wrote. Here's Blues' phone number and his email address to verify that he did the voiceover. Like, bro, come on. Intellectual property is mine. Anyway, I'm in Facebook. So I'm currently in Facebook prison. So that's why you have to have your own website. And websites are $20 a month. If you don't have a website, hit me up. I can make you a very basic website for $250. And that's what you need. Basically, you need it.
But that's what I mean. Because in the educational space as it relates to poetry, I get the complaints, and I got to do this. I'm like, you don't have to do anything. You can stay on the level that you're at, and you don't have to do anything.
I was just about to say, stay home then, because you are making way for people who want to put in let me be very clear about this. And I'm about to give you something exciting.
Yeah.
Let me be very clear about this. This is life changing. So if you're not ready for your life to change, stay doing what you're doing. But and I want to be very gentle and clear about this. I 100% Love Southern Fried Poetry Slam. I love the NUSPA Awards that Kaniki and 13 created. I love the National Poetry Awards. And the reason all those were created is because we were not
Yeah.
at the Grammys. We were not at VH1 Award. We weren't at the BET Awards, the Soul Train Awards. We were not considered. We were not. We were not considered human. we were. We were not considered human
So we were 3/5 of an artist.
of an artist. We were 3/5 of an artist. They were like poets. Look, I mean, okay, Maya Angelou, she can get an award, but she's exceptional. What? She's not the only one that is exceptional. So that's how Jay Ivy and his crew started. Da, da, da. So now we're 3 years in. If you don't want your life to change, or you can't handle your life changing, because you're gonna have to get to know a whole new set of people.
Go there. Go there. Go there.
Which one?
The if you can't
If you
handle,
can't handle your life changing, because now you have to reconsider how you say, act, feel online and in person forever. Jay Ivy was the perfect spokesperson for poetry first 2 years.
perfect.
Great, we got it. We understand now what we have to do. I'm
Yeah.
not saying change your story. If those of y'all who do know me, I know we don't have time for it today because we off on a whole nother thing. I did not change my story. I did not change who I am. I did not change my language. I dropped some very immature F and MF and B words that I didn't need because I'm a poet and I can think of other very creative, descriptive ways to say what I need to say. And that was a crutch. I was being lazy.
Wait, all right, pause right there. Because so I keep my platform clean. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
You heard me
one,
earlier. I was like, whoop.
right. All
Right.
all good. So, but and people don't understand. You censoring me. You bro.
No, those are crutches. And I want to be very vulnerable and say I do it on stage because I know it's going to get a laugh because people are uncomfortable. As soon as you say an F word, B word, an MF word, especially, because I mixed comedy with my transitions because my poems are heavy. All of them are heavy, except for a couple. Maybe the period poem and the roach poem. But they still even have heavy messages in them. Right? So I get my poems are heavy. So I
Yeah.
had to learn comedy. I had to go learn another skill for the transitions. And I know that as soon as a comedian curses, they're ha 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 ha, right? It loosens people up. But it's a
Right.
crutch, y'all. It is a crutch, writers. It is a crutch. Learn to use your words and describe how you're really feeling behind the MF, the B, and the F.
But it's see, I
And I
think
didn't say A. Sometimes an A is okay. Just it
the
depends.
hard part is we're in an era where you say exactly what you're saying and not be metaphoric. In the 70s, they would say the vulgar stuff, but you wouldn't even know it's vulgar because they've reworded it in such a creative way that you don't even know that it's vulgar.
And that's where the writing skill comes in. And I'm constantly learning skill. I want to say this very clear. Queen Sheba, 23 years in, who y'all look up to, took a class, a workshop from Rochelle Gemini and Kira J, who have been in this game half my time. Why? Because they know something I don't, obviously. If y'all are, I don't have nothing else to learn and I'm not gonna change, it's not change, it's
Queen,
growth.
Queen, if you understood, I
No,
teach, right?
let me say this. I'm sorry. I took a class from Christoph Jenkins when he came to Atlanta, and I was fortunate enough to have him in my living room, and I had pen and pad because y'all know something I don't. We can share this information. I have an online membership community. It's $100 a year. And poets don't want to pay $100 a year to network with each other. My goal is to get 100 people in this group this year. So if you would like to be part of this membership community where Christoph Jenkins comes in and does a workshop, where Kira J comes and does a workshop, or Rochelle, these are all online. You do not have to get out of your pajamas. We have to learn and grow. If we didn't learn and grow, we would not have our Grammy category. Thank you, JIV, for wanting to learn and grow and be like, whoa. We don't deserve to be books on tape. We're not books on tape. The people who are books on tape, great, give them an award for being audiobooks. We're not audiobooks. We're businesses, spoken word artists that travel the world, get on trains, get on planes, travel, hustle, rob Peter to pay Paul to live out our life as a writer. I'm sick of people saying that writers can't live sustainable lifestyles. And I'm not saying all of us got to be rapper style, dope boy, fresh
Mm,
millionaires. I'm
mm,
just saying, can you raise your children off of poems
mm.
without your lights being cut off, without me having to worry about paying my what I expressed to you, my Atlanta high bleepity bleep. I was about to say a word, high mortgages.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I'm learning. My high predatory
Mm.
lender mortgages. I shouldn't have to worry. And I don't
But
want nobody watching this to worry ever
but
again.
you know, but now that I'm thinking, to be honest with you, the same people that we're talking about um will work at a job and complain about the job, and on payday on Friday be on Amazon spending all the check, um and but won't take a class to increase their skill sets so they can get paid more and get a raise. So it spills over into all aspects of their lives. So it makes sense that they would not also take a class, a business class, or a performance class to get better at their art form, because I'm learning that it is more than the talent.
Because they think that a journal entry is a poem.
But it's with basketball too, right? Like the natural baller thinks that's all I need.
Mm. The
Be
the
naturally
the
gifted.
playground baller.
Right. I need to be naturally gifted. No, you need the fundamentals of the game. You need to study the game. Like you're saying, study the history.
What's his name? Bruce Lee. Everybody loves Bruce Lee quotes and
Okay.
philosophy. Bruce Lee said, I should Google this so I get it right, but I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it
Yeah.
like this. Bruce Lee said, discipline will outweigh talent every time. If only you rely on your talent. But if you have talent and discipline, come on, Steph Curry.
Did you see him last night?
My favorite shooter. I don't even know him, but I know he went to Davidson College in Charlotte, North Carolina, the small school of less than 1,000 people, and somebody found him, and he decided to work at it.
And when he
Um,
came in, he was he wasn't they nobody was looking for him. But he kept practicing even outside of practice.
Matter of fact, let's go with a classic, Michael Jordan too. That's his
Right.
story. That's been he sucked. He straight up sucked. Was not doing well in college. And then something clicked and he was like, "All right, let me practice. And then every time, you watch the documentary, every time he lost, y'all should read, everybody in the world should read The Mindful Athlete. It is amazing. Read
A
It's by
mindful athlete.
Mumford. What's it? Mindful Athlete. Yeah, let me Google that. But anyway,
Yeah, they
uh,
can Google it. Mindful athlete.
The Mindful
Y'all,
Athlete
y'all
talks
Google that.
about Jordan, talks about everybody, but read that. It's an amazing story about centering yourself and focus. But it's all about sports.
So what we're saying roundabout is those who excel and are excelling and thriving and striving, they're the ones that will go the extra mile and not just be talented. That's what we're saying.
So
Like we can't name a name that's a great that does not hone in on the art, but also the business and the everything else.
and you don't have to be people. People say that I'm business savvy. I appreciate it because I feel like I'm in a quicksand every day. Like, oh my god. I am hiring for a full-time, part-time, and y'all know what that means. A full-time, part-time administrative assistant that has nothing to do with entertainment at all. So if you're that person, DM me, get at me because I need you. You got to know where your challenges are. So here is my current album, Civil Rights, that is currently up for final Grammy consideration for the final round of voting for the winners of this category. Earlier this year, when I was nominated the first time for A, You're Not Wrong, B, They're Not Either. When I went to LA, this was the feedback that I got about my album. It's a great album. That's why you were nominated. It was a great poetry album. You're going to stay here with that type of album. Your poems are too long for the radio. We can't play anything.
Wait, when you heard that, how did you feel?
I'm receiving it.
Nice.
Because
but you were receiving it, but the average.
Yeah, let me be clear. I'm receiving it. That doesn't mean I wasn't struck. Like whoa. You're talking about my baby now. I got nominated. They're like, yep, and you're gonna keep getting nominated if you keep putting out albums like this. But let me, because I want to be clear before some poet is like, well, I'm gonna be myself. So you think format has nothing to do with the poem. They said the poems were too long. They said the poems were too long to play on the radio. So how do we promote you? We don't even know what to do with this album. This is great. It's a great spoken word album in the spoken word category. That's why you got nominated. It was really well done. Your poems are awesome. Da, 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 da. Wonderful. Great job. You're nominated. Now, to win, now to win.
There's levels.
Now to win, how about making your poems a little bit shorter? Slam. Right? What's wrong with that? You had a long poem. Brevity. Yeah. Leave them wanting more. How about make your poems a little shorter, add a singer, we can play it on the radio. No problem. They ain't say nothing about changing my story.
And they're not saying make it a song.
They didn't say make it a song. They didn't say make it a song.
They're saying do what you do.
Get somebody else to sing a hook. Didn't Method Man get Mary J? That's a perfect example, actually.
The Daniel here, man.
Listen, we just got here. Let's take it baby steps. Maybe in 5 years, they just gonna play the poem with no hook. Okay, here's a good example. What's his name? All Gold Everything. There's no hook, but they played it on the radio. But there was, there was no hook, right? All Gold Everything had no hook. It was like 2 minutes long. Everybody loved it. And, his other song had the hook, but no, All Gold Everything didn't have a hook. The other thing they said was, you curse too much. How are we going to play this on the radio? You curse too much. Poet, you don't have nothing to say? I mean, you can't.
Say right there. You just said a monumental statement. Poet, you don't have nothing else to say? That's saying it's not saying that I'm censoring you. We're saying that we know that you're a poet. We know that you're great with words. Stop limiting yourself to using curse words.
Mm-hmm. And when you're on stage, poets, if you want to curse, of course I do, right? If I'm on stage, I'm at what did I just go do in Baltimore? The poetry party.
Poetry party.
Of course, I'm having fun. But when I came the next day, when I came to WJLA, Good Morning Washington, you think I was cursing? No, of course, yeah, have a good time. Turn up, have some drinks, have some Tito's and whatever you drink at your local open mic when you doing public rehearsals. Cool, get it. I got it. But to win, now you need an album that we can play. So I dropped 3 singles, just like hip hop artists and just like R&B artists over the summer, and I made a professional music video. I wanted to make more, but they're very expensive. So I made one. I'm going to make some more. And because we're independent artists, you can make them when you want to. You can ride this album out till the wheels fall off.
But check this out, Queen. Now that you have the titles, you can now pitch and pose yourself to businesses and have them pay for it and let their name ride along with you. And now you got unlimited money. You got the they
Y'all
they
see how
like
I'm
Grammy. Yeah.
So this is what I tell people about being Grammy nominated. Being Grammy nominated works if you work. Otherwise,
Yes.
people go home and are Grammy
Yes.
nominated and go
Period.
back to work all the time. They being nominated means you lost. In the Grammys, in the rules, it says you win or you lose. It says it. I'm not being funny. But I say it
Yeah.
says we pick a winner by this third party voting system. It says Jay Ivy got 147 votes. Queen Sheba got 27 votes, and whoever, whatever, Jay Ivy won. They don't even tell you. You don't know who. There's no
Yes.
ranking. There's no ranking, and the rules are public. Y'all can Google Grammy rules; they pop right up. The rules are public. There's a winner or you lose. That's it.
But that's in the
You're nominated
Grammy.
forever.
That's in the Grammy world.
For sure.
But in the world, we're like, you got
Oh yeah, yeah,
nominated?
yeah. No,
No.
no, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yes.
Grammy nominated has definitely opened doors that would
Oh,
have
for
not have been
sure.
open
Now
this year.
you, like you say, your title right there, two-time Grammy nominated. So when they announce you, that's what they're saying now.
Forever, and you get a piece of paper, you get a medal from Tiffany, forever.
Forever.
It never goes away, and not like, Poetry Slam where you're, like, 5th in the world this year, but then somebody else is 5th in the world, so you're
That
Grammy
means you
nominated.
lost.
You're Grammy nominated forever,
Yeah.
forever. And then when you win, this is what I say. When you win, your life changes before you leave that building because you re-interview. So everybody gets to go down the red carpet. You go to the medias that you think are appropriate for you, whatever genre you're in, right? You can go. I was at TMZ, the Shade Room, all of that. They may post you, they may not. But you can take footage with your phone and repost it on your social medias. You can do all of that. It's amazing. It's an amazing, very expensive experience. Now, the gem that I am going to still give you is that I am on the National Poetry Membership Committee. So I am not limited to 2 recommendations. Now, I have my official 2 that I can log in and officially recommend to. Again, that does not mean that you're going to be accepted by the Recording Academy, but I'm on a committee with, I think, like 2 producers, a singer, and like 6 other poets, Jay Ivy included, and then our committee leader, his name is Maurice. And so we add people's names like Christoph Jenkins to a spreadsheet, your city and state. We don't need your address. We just want to
Mhm.
know what chapter you're closest to, your government name, stage name, city and state, email, phone number, and 3 IG, I'm sure, but and 3 places where we can find your music. And so what Maurice does, we just add them to this, but we just keep adding them. It could be today. It could be today. It could be today, tomorrow. Anybody watching this, if you want to be added to the spreadsheet and you meet those qualifications that we talked about earlier, you can DM me on IG. I check DMs on IG like text messages. That's the best place to find me because I am no
Mhm.
longer giving out my phone number and I'm not changing my phone number. People are like, you
Mhm.
better change your phone number when you win this year. And I'm like, I'm gonna get a Google Voice number. But you could DM me on IG, your government name, stage name, city and state, email, uh, phone number, IG. Even put the IG, even though we're on IG. Put your IG just so I can copy and paste. Your YouTube, website, and 3 places we can find music. And YouTube can be one of those places because now when you get distribution through United Masters or whatever, it puts it everywhere. So that's fine. But DM me that information. I put it on the spreadsheet. I even make a little notes. Hey, I do know this person. Christoph has been doing this for 20 years. Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
Gold star on this one. Hey, I don't know this person. They DM'd me, just letting you know. But we get to add our sauce on it, but we do not make the final decision. Maurice does his own vetting. So now I'm going to put you, Christoph, on this spreadsheet
Mhm.
today, right?
Yeah.
You will be for 2026, and then
Got
you're
it.
thinking, well, shoot, I can't even do nothing for 2025. Yes, you can. The best thing that you can do sitting in Washington, D.C. is to get to know your D.C. chapter. Get to know them first name, go to every workshop. They're all free. Go to every workshop, get to know them, get to know your president. She's amazing. Black woman, dreads down to her feet. I was at your DC chapter party with Nina and 13 3 weeks ago. Got pictures. Once you become a Recording Academy member, you can go to any party you want to. Now you get to meet Glorilla. Now you get to meet Beyonce, Jay-Z. You get to be in the room sitting there. You get a free ticket to the Grammys if you're nominated. If you're not nominated, and or let's say you didn't even put out an album because not you're a professional member, you want to go to the Grammys, you can buy a ticket. The Grammys are not open to the public. They're only open to the Recording Academy members. They're not open to the public. Because last year I was like, oh, can I get everybody to come? They're like, this ain't open to the public. Like, you must be new. So there are a lot of benefits. There is free dental with
Oh
free
my
dental
Lord.
with Music Cares. There are free physicals with Music Cares. There is artist financial relief for hurricanes, storms. If you're in a hardship today, you in a hardship. I'm an artist. I haven't been able to get some gigs. I don't know. I haven't put out an album. I broke a leg. Whatever. Fill out grant information. There are some. I'm not even touching the tip of the iceberg on the benefits of becoming a Recording
Do
Academy
they
member.
do they teach? Do they teach artists to
So there is Grammy U. So you can be a Grammy U mentor.
I need that.
If you are a Recording Academy member. If you're a Recording Academy member, you can join I'm also on the education committee for Atlanta. And you can I was a Grammy U mentor 4 times. They pair you with a college student, probably in your proximity, but anywhere in the country. And then you're only required to meet with them via Zoom. You're not even required to meet in person. I think it's like 3 times is the requirement, but you decide the curriculum in the program. You can be like, hey, we're going to meet 3 times. That's it. Or we're going to meet once a week. Or here's your homework. You decide how you want to impact this young person's life. And then that is your mentee for 6 to 8 weeks, I think it is. And then, you teach them whatever you want. Also, within your chapter, you can go to your chapter president and say, hey, my name is Christoph. I'm going to, Queen Sheba told me how to become a member. I can't become a member for 2025. I'm interested in 2026. I would love to be more involved in the chapter. This is what I do. I'd love to teach a workshop. They are always looking for educational programming, especially within your DC chapter. You can do that now. You don't have to be a Recording Academy member because I want to make this very clear. Just because you're an artist, who's your favorite artist that's out right now?
As far as poetry?
No. You
Oh.
can say poetry, but anybody. It could be anybody.
That's a good question. I'm just going to yell out right now. I'm going to say Black Chakra right now.
Okay. Black Chakra does not have to be a Recording Academy member just because he's an artist. So think about yourself like a record label. So Poet Life is now starting a poetry record label. You could submit 12 poets to the Grammys. They don't have to be voting members. Think about like Arista Records or whoever, I don't know. Whoever else was a record label. So just because they're an artist does not necessarily mean they are Recording Academy members. I submitted a couple. Matter of fact, a good example is Maya Wright. She submitted an album this year in the poetry category. She's an amazing poet. She's from Baltimore, and she's not a Recording Academy member. She's an artist. Artists don't have to be Recording Academy members to get their albums submitted or voted on. So there are so many benefits that I think people are just uneducated about, didn't know. So I have been a Recording Academy member since 2008, and this is my 5th time submitting, not my 2nd. I submitted back in 08, 10, and something like 12, something like that. Just throwing spaghetti on the wall, not knowing what I was doing, wasn't involved, nothing like that. I was like, let me submit my album under audiobooks and see what happens. I mean, I didn't campaign. I didn't know what I was doing, right? I just did it. Then when J. Ivy came along, I was like, oh, this is what we do. And then it became intentional and purposeful. But I've always considered myself a peer. I can't be a peer of a folk singer. Come on, man. You got to consider yourself a peer of these artists for you to think elevated.
Whew. That's
If
so
you
good.
just think you're just a poet, just doing poems at just an open mic, then you're not ready to be elevated. And I still I want to make all of this clear. I live in both worlds at the same time.
You have to.
I don't y'all just heard me say I went to the poetry party and I want to go to Orville's thing. I go to Bus Boys and Poets. They only pay $100 and everybody knows that. So this ain't about, oh, I'm getting Grammy nominated, run my 20 grand. Of course, for the businesses that can, but I'm not gonna leave y'all. Y'all are why I'm here.
Y'all different. You you Talam, you know, George and me, Teresa, y'all are some unicorns, man. Y'all are the forefathers almost, aunties and all of that, but you still are humble to, like you said, to take one of my classes. And like Georgia Me Talam and Rewap came to a meetup, to our first meetup in Atlanta, and I was just like, yo, like this is crazy. And even the poets that are like just starting, they were like, yo, look at these giants like coming down to where we are and just like
Hanging out.
fellowshipping with us.
Yes. Because
And they
the
were telling stories, and everybody was just like this, like, oh my, look at this is mind blowing. That's beautiful.
um I heard an amazing story about myself. And I say that humbly because a lot of times you hear the ridiculousness, right? And
Sure.
it made me cry to hear that. Oh my God, he's going to kill me too. It's only because I'm in the moment that it just popped up that Slangston Hughes,
Yes.
he's actually from my era. And there was a conversation being had about me within the Baltimore new poets
Mm-hmm.
that they just were unfamiliar. Nothing bad was said.
Mm-hmm.
They were just having discussion about poets, and they were just they knew who I was, but unfamiliar of the weight, the years, the work.
Yes.
And Slangston just naturally was like, whoa, whoa, nah, Queen Sheba, that, and the way it was, brought back to me was awesome, amazing, elevated. This all was a positive thing. Like the whole conversation was just like, oh yeah, I know Queen Sheba, but we don't really know her. And he was like, hold on, let me tell you. let me run down the story about how she used to murder these slams and da 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 da. And I was just like, oh my God, thank you. That was just awesome to hear because the poets that have come within the last 10 years don't know that we're still going. And the Grammys and my current album and learning what I've learned, listening to the album Michael from Killer Mike, having our own category, and then being nominated back to back says so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honored, humbled, grateful. And I didn't even know I was going to be a career poet until I was just on year 15. And I was like, oh, here we are. Okay.
Right.
I'm going to keep going. I love it. I love spoken word poetry, every aspect of it. And I'm currently applying for a full-time creative writing professor position at a university. And I hope I get it because that's where my passion is. Sure, yeah, I'm gonna take SNHU's check. Of course, I need it. Poets, I got flyers to print. I got planes to get on, and I got poetry versus hip hop deposits to make. And all money is good money. I mean, what's the difference between getting an Airbnb in Toro and taking a job in my field that I love and that I get to, teach young poets about? And let me tell you, civil rights, the South got something to say is for everybody. I hope everybody watching this podcast listens to it, takes the time to listen to it. If you are a Grammy voting member in any city around the world, I cannot tell you who to vote for because that's against the rules, but
Mm-hmm.
I can say that I have an album in the spoken word poetry category called Civil Rights, The South Got Something to Say. And I would love for you to consider checking it out and then deciding when you make your final vote for the winners of all the categories that you're going to vote into to consider my album. Another thing that the Recording Academy is really that Harvey Mason Jr. really, really, really hones in on is he is trying his best to be like, it's about the albums, guys. It's about the music. He knows that popularity contest comes into it, but he does his very best in his letters and his emails that he sends out, like, hey guys, listen to the music, because next to each album, which is why I say please give us 3 places we can listen to your music. When we submit our albums, we have to submit a letter of intention. I intend to represent spoken word for the next year. I am a spoken word artist. I've been doing this. It's on my back. The South is on my back. The poet's on my back. If I win, we all win. If poetry wins, we all win. And so Harvey Mason Jr. is like, look, guys, this is not a popularity contest. Click these buttons and listen to the albums, and then make your decision. So I ask that anybody please go to Tidal, go to YouTube. You can find the tracks on YouTube. Go to any streaming platform. I'm trying not to say the S word because they are tripping right now. That's a whole nother podcast. But Tidal, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you can stream anything, my album is there. Please check it out. And the way that you can help me is we actually have what's today? Thursday. We actually have 8 more days for the voting process. And if you listen to the album, what I've been incentivizing people is, if you are a voting member, if you are not a voting member, because you cannot give gifts, if you're not a voting member, I would love for you to do a public review about whatever you think about the album. It was great. It was amazing. I love this track. This track was awesome. Blah, blah, blah. This track, I had some questions. I didn't know what was going on. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever you do. If you got more than a 1,500 followers and you collab with me on IG, you can say whatever you want on a review. I'll send you a t-shirt, a tour t-shirt. It says Civil Rights on the front. It's got all the tracks and everybody on the back. That's all you got to do. That's it. Just help me get it out there. That's it. This is my, what is it called? My, not my, it's kind of like a GoFundMe. It's like, but not a GoFundMe. I don't want your money. Nothing like that. Just do the review. A couple people have done it. I'm going to send them t-shirts, and it's been really awesome. I'm gonna send you a t-shirt, and we're gonna have a big party when I come back with this gold trophy February 2nd.
Let's do it. Let's set it up.
To existence.
For sure. Most definitely. Most definitely. So I want to ask you before we close out. I know you got things to do, and same here. It's the day after Christmas and all that good stuff. Let me ask you, because this is since our last time we talked, and y'all should go check out the first time or the first episode that we had together. We spoke about the holidays and you performing. How are your holidays? Talk to me about it.
So, thank you for the inspiration. Yeah. I wrote like 10 holiday poems.
Yeah.
So, but let me tell you, I am a human being, y'all. Yes, I've learned a lot along my way. So I wrote the poems, and I was even inspired to start a poetry holiday album. Do you want to be on it?
Man,
that we're going to submit for the Grammys next year, right?
Let's go.
So I've got poets together. Like, you inspired me. So I was like, all right, I'm right. Ask me, have I done one of these poems online yet? And I know I could just sit here and read. I could do that, and I have not, and I'm going to. I'm going to do it today. I'm going to start today. We still got some holiday left. So I did write the poems. I was inspired. I got some poets together and be like, hey, let's start this holiday album. And then what had happened was I got nominated, and I took my campaigning. I am taking my campaigning and learning, and it's way more intense than it was last year. Last year, I think it was a bunch of IG posts. This year, it is everything, all the things. It is all the things. So I got a little overwhelmed, get a little busy. So I have not read these poems a lot, but you know what? I'm gonna do it starting today. I'm just gonna read them on IG, download them, and share them to TikTok and YouTube. And
have you had the chance to perform any of them at all?
Yes, in Miami, I did. Yep, in Miami, I did. And people were like, "Oh, that's." And then somebody came up to me afterwards and was like, "Come to my college." I said, "Look at Christoph."
I'm telling you. Like there's always something happening at every part of the year. So you just ask yourself, what's happening this part of the year? Okay, elections. I might need an election poem.
Right.
Every 4 years.
Haiku that I post every 4 years. I just changed the president name. And then people are like, 400 likes. That's so funny. I think I started writing it about Bush Senior, and then I just kept going.
Then you switch. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, no, your performance timeline does not have to slow down. Your schedule does not have to slow down because it's Christmas, because it's Thanksgiving. No, write a Christmas poem, write a Thanksgiving poem, about great. It doesn't have to be about the pilgrims and the, you know what I'm saying? It could be about gratitude and,
or your family, make it a,
family,
family,
all of that.
all the dynamics. Oh, and I see what you're saying. You're saying write your Thanksgiving poem, and when it's ready in April, post it anyway. Sorry.
I'm saying that there are going to be some Thanksgiving events that you now are eligible for. There are going to be some Christmas events that you are now like, oh, I got something for that.
Even if they didn't see it per se, when they say, hey, do you have something about Thanksgiving? You could be like, boop.
Yes. Or if you see the event come up, or
just repost it.
No, you reach out to them and say, hey, I see that you got an event coming up. I have a Christmas poem that I think will be great for you. I think you should book me.
Let me tell you why that is not a far stretch. I think, considering pivoting into public speaking, and that's exactly what this dude said. He said, if your focus is women's empowerment, he said, Google women's empowerment conferences 2025, reach out to them and basically book yourself. That's it. I said, hey,
that's the game. It's not the game. No longer is sitting and waiting and hoping and praying.
It's going to get it.
It's going to go get it, and you can line up your whole year for 2025. Your whole calendar will be full. All right, cool. February, what's happening? Oh, love. Let me pull out my love poems. Let me see, because these corporate spaces, they plan events 3, 6, 9, 12 months in advance. So get on the roster for a year from now, and now you got now you can predict how much money you're making months in advance.
And then we're not even considering the people who just gonna call you out the blue anyway.
That's just icing on the cake.
Let me tell you, I wish we had time to talk about the basics of Kira J's How to Go Viral workshop. Man, let me tell you, I'm trying to implement it for 2025. I don't even know what viral means, but I halfway went viral on TikTok because me and my partner, who refuses social media, she will only do TikTok, and she will only either say like one line, and then we have this little funny thing that she does where she just walks away. So
that's her brand.
Yeah. Her one line, walk away. And so I don't even know what viral means to people. 50,000, 10,000, I don't know. But we have 17,000 views on this one video we did, and she attributes it to the Range Rover being in the TikTok, not herself. I said, well, I don't care what happened. But now you're TikTok famous. She's like, oh my God, I went to church and somebody said, I saw you on TikTok. I said, that is hilarious. She has no social media, none, zero. You can't even find her on there.
I love people like that, man.
Yeah.
I love people like that. Listen, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Indeed. Congratulations
Thank you for having me again.
No, for when you when we connect, it's always a great. Listen, if y'all watching this, if y'all listening, we did not. I don't even know if you've noticed, but we just said, because we were already talking. She was like, push record and let's continue talking, and that's just what we did. There's no intro to this thing, and those are the best conversations. And I never want this to seem as a interview. It's just a great conversation with dope people, and so you're definitely one of the most dopest people I know, for sure.
Thank you so much.
And those levels, that's when you know you're elevating. When they tell you what got you here won't keep you here, that's basically what they said. It got you here, but in order for you to stay here or even go higher, you got to do more.
Or different.
Yes.
Or different.
Yes.
And I'm okay. I'm okay with the different. I'm definitely one of those poets who like, you ain't gonna tell me what to, of course.
It's growth. It's growth.
It's growth.
That's all it is.
It's growth.
Yeah,
it's growth. And
you have
to be inside to make the change. How you gonna hate from outside of the club? You can't even get in.
Oh man, that's the perfect way to end this thing. Listen, so this is 2024. It's like 4 or 5 days left. What would you leave the people, right, at the tail end of this year that are excited and gearing up for 2025?
Excited and geared up for 2025. I'm going to mess up a quote that is by Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Do one thing every day that scares you.
That's the best. That's good.
Do one thing every day that scares you. And to not intimidate yourself, just take little bites of it. You don't have to learn Spanish all on January 1st. Just a little bit every day, one word a day. By the end of the year, you'll be fluent.
That's so good. That's all I need. I'm taking that and running with it. I like that. That's good. Queen Sheba, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Christoph.
We will keep everybody updated on your success, but also, you know, the Grammys. And let's keep on going. Let's keep on growing. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Please listen to Civil Rights, like writing, WRITES. The South Got Something to Say. It's on all streaming platforms. And please join my community. I don't like to say follow because I follow back. Please join my community on IG and TikTok, specifically The Queen Sheba, and also Poetry versus Hip Hop, which is my traveling brand. I have 8 shows coming up from today all the way through Valentine's Day weekend. And some of them are up north near you, Philly and New York. So I'll give you a couple free tickets so you can come to Philly if you want to come up there. And that one's actually sold out, and that's next Saturday. So yeah, follow us, hang out with us. I love hiring poets and singers and comedians. If you are any of those, then DM me on Poetry versus Hip Hop. And I would love to put you in a show for you to earn some money. So let's do it. Let's do it.
There you go. Y'all heard the word earn. She's just not taking, you know, giveaways.
We ain't giving away. You got to earn it. Yeah.
Yes,
that's
indeed.
what my father told me.
Indeed. I appreciate you. Have a good weekend. All right.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.